Hey everybody, how are you? Fifth graders, this is Miss Joanne, and we're going to be continuing our Christian formation with our Family Life book. So if you can open up your Family Life book, we're going to take a look at it real quick. If you can turn to page 4 in your Family Life book. We'll look at that really quick. And it talks about the Catholic home. And there's 12 things that it wants you to concentrate on. You've been created in an image and a likeness of God. You are called to do what is good. You are created to be happy. You are created free. You have a conscience. That's a big deal. You have been given the gifts of the virtues. The Holy Spirit helps you lead a good life. God is merciful. You have a responsibility to the human community. You follow legitimate authority. You have the 10 Commandments and the Beatitudes as your guide to life. And you know and follow the law of love. Those are the most important 12 things you can do for a happy, healthy family life. Then on pages 6 and 7, there's prayers for your family. The sign of the cross, the Lord's Prayer, the Hail Mary, the Glory Be, the grace before meals, after meals, and a family prayer. Those are all prayers that you should try to memorize over the summer. On the next page, on page 8, it talks about the Great Commandment, which is the most important that Jesus left us. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all of your mind, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. So your neighbor is not only the person who lives next door to you, it's everybody in your family and your friends and everyone that you're associated with. And Jesus said, this is my commandment, to love others as I love you. And then you have the 10 Commandments, the virtues, the Beatitudes. All of these are wonderful tools that God gave us to live our lives to be more like Him. So if you go and you turn to the first lesson, Family Ties, it's on page 10. There's a picture there and it says more than a picture. And what this paragraph talks about is how families are different. And just because your family is different than somebody else's doesn't mean it's any better or any less. It's a family, and that's what's most important. Some families have their mother and father and they all live together, siblings, brothers, sisters, mom, dad, and they have a happy life. Some people, their parents are divorced. Their mom lives in one place, their dad lives in another, and kids your age go back and forth, and that's their family, that's their dynamic. Some kids are foster kids where their parents can't take care of them, so other people are stepping in to help. Some people are adopted. These are all people. We all need to treat them the same, no matter where they come from, what they look like, or what their family dynamic is. Everyone is different. Every family is different. My parents were both married twice before I came along. So in my mom's first marriage, she had 4 kids. And in my dad's first marriage, he had 2. And then I came along. So we have a huge blended family, and we're all brothers and sisters, and we all love each other, and everybody's family is different. So if you follow Jesus' commandment, love others as I have loved you, none of that really matters. Most people say that family is a set of people who share the same blood. Most of the time that's true. Your family, you share the same blood, but sometimes you don't share the same blood. Sometimes there's adoption, sometimes there's foster care, but they're all families. And that's what's most important. So if you look at this picture, this is where they're learning about how families are different and how everyone should be treated the same. In the story, they talk about how families are different from one another. They have different individuals living together. Some people live with their grandparents, some people don't. What does someone do when they're being hospitable? Do you know what hospitable means? I want you to think about that. And why do you think someone would act in such a way as to be hospitable? Let's figure that out. So if you turn the page and you go to page 12 in your Family Life book, there's a story there called Signs of a Strong Family. And this talks about the three main points: communication, respect, and trust. You always have to communicate. Sometimes there's things you don't want to tell your parents, and sometimes there's things your parents don't want to tell you. But you have to learn to communicate. Your parents can't help you unless they know what's going on. And you have to respect. Respect is huge. You have to respect your space. You have to respect authority, your parents. You have to respect the people around you. And if you show others respect, they will show you respect. And the last is trust. Trust includes being able to depend on one another. Family members count on one another to build and support their family. And that helps you guys understand that parents are doing what's best for you. Even sometimes when you don't think they're doing what's best for you, they are. That's what parents are there for. And if you look at the top with the cross in the yellow box, it says Catholics believe. The family is an important part of God's part of creation. The family is an icon or an image of the church. It is guided by the church for a life of service and mission of love. So if you center your family around God and Christ, your family will get along much better. And on the other side, on page 13, it says growing to virtue. With the tree there, it talks about growing. And the word underneath of it is hospitality. And hospitality is a wonderful way of respecting the customs and traditions of families. It's an attitude of welcoming openness and acceptance. You have to love everybody for who they are. Everybody's going to be different. Everybody has a different skin color, different hair color, different ways that they believe. But if we show them hospitality, we can all get along. And that's what the main picture is everybody get along, everybody be at peace, everybody treat each other with respect, communicate, and trust. And trust is important in a family. You want to keep your family together, but that does not mean keeping secrets that are hurtful. So if there's something going on in your family that your conscience is telling you that's not right, you can talk to your parents. Let them know. You know, there's situations, unfortunately, where kids, their parents aren't treating them well, and the children feel like they can't tell anybody because of family trust and loyalty. You can always tell somebody. Trust is earned. And when you have trust, you have respect. But trust does not mean, it's also earned, but it can also be lost. And that can be bad. If you give someone your trust and they betray it, it's hard to deal with. But a family can help you fix that. So that's why you always want to communicate, even though sometimes it's really hard. Also, you want to learn about showing family strength. So I want you to do the activities with your family, working in a group. You can do these activities together. It's also important that you guys don't take for granted the qualities of others in your family. And you need to experience the differences, because there's difficulty in thinking of qualities that you admire and qualities that you might not. I want you to consider not just those difficult days with your family, because we all have difficult days with our family. Consider the really good days. I mean, some days are bad. You're tired, you have school, you have sports, your brothers and your sisters are getting on your nerves, your mom's not paying attention, your dad's not home yet. Frustrating, right? Some people don't have a mom and a dad that both come home at night, so it's frustrating for them too. But think about the good times and how when your family is close and everybody's getting along. That's what you need to concentrate on. You will help open an environment in your family of sharing and not excluding. And that's very important. You guys are in 5th grade now, going into middle school. Big changes are coming your way. So your parents are going to be your best allies. The person who takes care of you and is your guardian is going to be your best ally. You have to learn to communicate with them. It's very important. Another important aspect of being in a family is loyalty. And it includes staying committed to your family with the traditions and the values that you share. And family members support one another, even when there's a problem, even when there's failures, and even when someone is being hurt or abused. Families support each other. You don't let that happen. And then you have responsibility. Responsibility is a big one, and you guys are getting to be that age where you need to be responsible, and that means being accountable for your words and your actions. Each person on this earth has a duty to help meet the needs of the family. For example, by sharing chores, being sensitive to the needs and feelings of others. Sometimes people are just having a bad day and you know it. And maybe you should just maybe pick up their chore. Maybe do something extra nice to make them feel better. That's our responsibility in a family. And then companionship. Companionship includes making time to have fun together, because families get busy with school and work and activities and camps, and with this pandemic going on, everything is just different. And we have to make that extra effort for the companionship with our family, because families are the most important thing that we have, and we can never take that for granted. It's very important. So if you turn again in your family life book to page 14, there's an activity called celebrating your family. So no matter how different you think your family is, never be ashamed of your family. Never think you're less than anybody else, because you're not. Families are family, and that's what the most important thing is. It doesn't matter where you go, where you live, what car you drive. None of that matters. What matters is that you have your family and you stick together and you stay close to God and you remember the most important thing that God wants us to remember about our family and ourselves is the great commandment that He left us. This is my commandment, He said, love one another as I love you. And that comes from the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 12. And then the great commandment of all, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself. So if you love God with all of your soul, with all of your heart, and all of your mind, it's going to be very easy to love your neighbor that way as well. And then you have the 10 Commandments to help you. If you follow the 10 Commandments and you do your best to follow them, we're human. We're not going to follow them all the time. That's why we are blessed to have the sacrament of reconciliation. But if you do your best to follow the 10 Commandments, all of these other things that we're teaching you about your family with trust and commitment and responsibility, accountability, all of that's going to come very easy. Sounds like a lot to take in. But you guys are going into middle school. There's a lot of changes that are going to happen. You need to make sure that you respect yourself, that when things come along and you're not sure what to do, you think, what would my mom or my dad say? Or what would my grandmother say? Or my granddad? Or my aunt? Or my uncle? Whoever is taking care of you. How do you think they would react to the situation? And you take it from there. What do you think God would want me to do in this situation? You can do all of that in your head. Doesn't mean you need to let everybody around you know that you're questioning. You're good people. You're old enough now. You know. You have to make the right choices. And this is the time we're going to be making a lot of different choices. So I want you guys to look over lesson 1, do the activities, and remember to keep your family sacred. Remember to keep your traditions and trust in them. They've been around for a long time. That's why they call them traditions. Be good to your family. Even when things seem hard and things seem rough, it's like that for everybody right now, especially with this pandemic going on. A lot of people are going through a lot of different troubles. So we need to respect everybody. Respect people for who they are and how they look and what they wear. It doesn't matter. Learn to respect. Always trust. Always put your trust in God first. And always trust. Never be afraid to tell somebody if you feel something is wrong and something's not right. Your parents, your guardian, all of those people are your best advocates. And they will help you through this. That was our first family ties lesson, guys. Not as long as the venture lessons, right? But these are important too. So make sure you keep this book handy. Next lesson we'll be learning about is lesson 2 in the book. And lesson 2 starts out with family feelings. So we'll get into that in the next video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. I hope everybody's staying healthy and well. Remember to wear your mask, wash your hands, respect others, and most of all, say your prayers. And make sure you say an extra prayer that God will get this pandemic under control very soon so we can all meet again in person and have these classes. You all have a wonderful afternoon. Take care, be well. See you next time for lesson 2.